Talk about cases again today, in particular one case from a company called TableWar. So this is a different type of case other than the say standard foam cases that we've been talking about, like Battle Foam or KR, for example. TableWar actually takes a concept that's been known in the miniature gaming world for a while now and takes it to another extreme. So, and that concept that I'm talking about is this one where, you know, you might have seen folks that have a very inexpensive and safe system of transporting miniatures, and it's a very simple system. What they would typically do is take a metal tray or, for example, even a metal toolbox, probably being one of the most common forms of this. They take a metal tray or toolbox, then they will put magnets on the bottom of their miniatures, so they stick a magnet, they magnetize their miniatures, and then just place the miniatures standing up on these metal platforms, and then you can transport the model standing up, and that's how you got to and from the store or the event or whatever, with your models transported very safely. And as it turns out, this is a very efficient system. Your models take up less, I guess, footprint when they're standing vertically and just attached to the base of whatever you're carrying them in standing up. The other thing is this is a very safe way of transporting miniatures, at least to a degree, in that the miniatures aren't being rubbed around with foam, or, you know, the foam isn't compressing down, and maybe the outside structure of the case isn't solid, and so you might have breakage that way. So it's a fairly safe, and it's also very cheap to do this. You know, you can buy a metal toolbox from the hardware store for, you know, only a handful of bucks, and then the magnets aren't terribly expensive these days, and you put the magnets on the bottom of your miniatures and you're good to go. So that's probably one of the best, most cost-efficient, I guess, yeah, cost-efficient, safe ways to carry your miniatures when you're on a limited budget. However, there are some downsides to that. One of the main ones being, you know, you look like you're about to install somebody's cable when you are doing that sort of thing. So what TableWar does is they take this same concept of magnetizing miniatures and putting them on, say, a metal tray, and they take this to a new extreme with these display style cases. And I'm going to try to pan up here a little bit so you can see. Actually, I might even kind of level off here. And I'm going to cut for a second. We'll take a look at the features of this case. Okay, so today we're looking at the Mark I half-size case from TableWar. So like I said, this is based on the concept of magnetizing some miniatures onto a metal platform. However, the guys over at TableWar decided, hey, that's not good enough, and they want to have something that's kind of the opposite of the red metal toolbox in one way, in that this is very much a display style case. So this is this combines the efficiency of magnetizing miniatures onto metal trays with the showmanship of a full display-sized case. So just some features of this case, as you can see, is you've got this kind of clear acrylic door in the front, so that you can show off your stuff. And this is probably one of the biggest draws to this style of case, is that you can actually show people what you're working on, how cool your crews are, or your army, or your Blood Bowl team, or whatever, and they can see that behind your case while this stuff is in storage and before it's about to be played. So some real quick features, real sturdy handle here up top. However, due to the weight of the case, you can see that there is no shoulder strap to this case. So this is a case that you have to pick up and hold by the handle. The other thing is you've got a combination set of locking down pins right there. So you can set your combo, a little bit of added security for this. Got another latch here on the side, so I'm going to pop this open and we'll have a look inside. So inside is a fairly simple system. And the other thing you can do is pop open a couple of latches here on this side, and voila, and you can pop open this case from the top. So now you can see everything that's being stored in the case. You can see that I actually did not slide this in level. Sometimes that happens, but that's not the end of the world. But anyway, you can see that it's a very simple system of trays that slide out this way, and those trays are made up of these basically plates of galvanized metal with a plastic frame, and you glue the metal into the frame, and then you magnetize your models. Now these guys you probably recognize from previous video where I was doing these Malifaux display type or diorama style bases, and you can see how the bases fit perfectly in this system, and the trays slide in and out. Down here, this is a non-diorama style. I'm just using the bottom here to transport some Blood Bowl miniatures. And the other thing is you can also use a storage drawer here. So I've got a storage drawer at the bottom of the case. You can put stuff like dice in here, templates, your rules, your rule books. So that's pretty cool. So this is a half-size case. Actually, there's a full-size case, which is twice the height of this case. Same depth, uses the same trays and the same systems. So bottom line for me is this is a tremendous display piece. I mean, this is a way to kind of show off the stuff that you've worked on, how cool your minis are, how cool your force is, and bring that to your tournament or your show or whatever, and get people interested in the miniatures that you're sporting. This is particularly good for me in that I promote games like Malifaux at the convention level, and it's an awesome way for me to show people some of the miniatures of the game that I'm playing that day, without them having to get their hands onto some of my miniatures, some of the finer pieces and things. That's particularly important when you're at a show with let's say less than supervised children around. So that's the main the main pro is just how displayed this really is. Using an efficient system like magnetizing miniatures, but really taking it to an extreme in terms of really having a show style piece that's also your storage. Some of the cons to this system is, and they're not really cons, it's just that you need to think of this system in terms of being a different style of transport system than your typical foam bag. Now, this doesn't have that harsh foam rub-off the way some of those foam bags have, but conversely, it's not quite as efficient as some of those bags, particularly the KR bags, can be. The other thing is, this is really a local transport device. You don't use this device, you don't use this type of storage case to when you're going on planes, you go on trips. Now, I travel with my miniatures fairly frequently, and I have some videos about that as well. I would not recommend this storage system for that. So this is really local storage or local transportation of your miniatures. You can still use your foam bags and everything for getting on planes and so forth. The other thing is with the shelf system, you are kind of limited to a footprint here. That's not the end of the world. Like I said, if you really wanted to optimize this for transporting lots of miniatures, all you do is you don't build much of a diorama. So you can go bare like that. Another thing you can do is, let me put together one of these for you real quick. You can use some of the pre-fitted inserts. So this is, for example, looks like a 20 size 25 millimeter round base storage tray. So you can put 25, say, infantry on one of these. Now with this half-size case, you figure maybe 3 levels of shelves, and which would be 9 of these, so that would be 9 times 20, roughly 180 figures if you were just doing 25 millimeter infantry. That's pretty good. That's not the best, not the most efficient system out there, but all things considered, that's a pretty good size for things that you can carry. So yeah, so this is a local storage piece. That's maybe one of the main cons, I guess, if you're going to call it a con. You really just want to think of this as your local storage and transportation system. And the other thing is, no shoulder strap, but again, this thing is really a full-sized, meaty display case, so you don't want to be carrying this on a shoulder strap anyways. I don't know how comfortable I would feel, particularly with a chest full of pewter miniatures, and having this on my shoulder. I would probably still hold it by the handle even if there was a shoulder strap. But yeah, overall, very good case. I recommend it for folks that are really into the hobby aspect of gaming, folks that like to show off the stuff that they're working on. And one other feature that I didn't really talk about is just how convenient it is to pop out a crew, or in this case this is a Blood Bowl team. If I'm just playing Blood Bowl like I was the other day, I can carry, say, 6 teams in here, each on a tray, and I just pop the tray out and I'm like, okay, here's my team, and I pop the other tray out and here's your team, and then we play our game of Blood Bowl, and then as soon as we're done we pop everything back in and we're good to go. So that's another little advantage there. Like I said, overall, really cool case. Highly recommend it for the hobbyists, the people that are going to be doing primarily local travel to and from their FLGS. And I would also recommend it for folks that are doing local conventions too, because then you get to really show off your pieces. Now finally, one thing I would point out, and this applies to our local guys, our SoCal Malifaux members, because Doug is a local guy and he plays Malifaux, and we had a good time at Strategicon GameX together. Doug has decided to give us a limited time offer, limited time discount actually, on TableWar products. So if you guys have been paying attention to the Facebook, not the 2.0 stuff, but if you've been paying attention to the Facebook and my TableWar stuff, I did actually mention a code at one point that you can use, and this is good through the end of June, to get a discount on TableWar product. If you don't have that discount code, and I'm not going to say it here on YouTube because I don't want it, I want to be respectful of Doug's promotional codes. If you need that code and you're a member of SoCal Malifaux, go ahead and hit me up on the Facebook. Be more than happy to give you that discount. So there's that discount is good through the end of June. And again, if you guys are looking for a nice show piece, and some of you guys have seen this personally, so you know how cool this is, just let me know. I'll get you that promotion code, and then Doug will hook you up with product after there. So that's it for this review. Want to thank the guys over at TableWar for hooking me up with this. Just letting me do diorama stuff. I really had a lot of fun with that, and I've been showing this thing off at all the stuff I've been going to. So that's it for this video, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.